Ladies and gentlemen, keep that thunderous applause going for the coolest man in the galaxy. He's here. He's Billy D. Williams. Welcome.
My goodness. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I always get a kick out of going up against, seeing myself going up against Darth Vader. I think it's a very funny moment because I'm one of the few adversaries or individuals who survived Darth Vader and his antics. Anyway, hello everybody, and thank you for coming. And this has been, I was really looking forward to coming to Halifax. I didn't realize there were so many people in Halifax. But anyway, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. It's my 4th year at Hal-Con. I know you guys always have great questions. Obviously, the microphone is there in the center, so feel free to line up, and we'll start taking them in a minute. But if you'll indulge me, I've got a few questions for Billy to start. Obviously, something that is on our minds. We know that Lucasfilm sold the rights to Star Wars to Disney, and that they've already set a date for the next film. I think it's December 15th or December 18th. There we go. 2015, so...
When is it?
December 18th, 2015. They've already announced. They haven't even started shooting, and they've already released the date that you can see it in theaters. So, are we going to see Lando back in there? Do you know anything? What can you tell us at this point?
I really can't tell you anything. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, everybody else knows what's going on.
But there is a Twitter...
It's always like that, though.
Yeah. Find out kind of late.
Well, I remember when we were shooting Return of the Jedi, we were out in the desert in Arizona, and and we were trying to they were trying to prevent people from knowing that the company was the Star Wars company. So it was called Blue Harvest.
Right.
Yeah. So, but everybody knew what was going on. I mean, there were airplanes flying overhead, knowing exactly where we were, the location where we were, a shooting location. So I'm always amazed at that, the fact that all of the people who have been big fans of Star Wars know more about what's going on than I think the actors do.
Well, the franchise was already very established when you joined for the second film, Empire Strikes Back. But did you anticipate it having this longevity, this sustained fandom surrounding Star Wars? You know, there are now kids who are, I was in utero when I saw Return of the Jedi. There are now kids who, are born...
Well, my grandkids, they're...
Yeah, you were telling me this morning.
Yeah.
They're into it. So what is it about Star Wars that continues this passionate fandom?
Well, I think, first of all, it's iconic. I mean, it was the beginning of the precursor, or the beginning of the whole sci-fi, how do you say it?
Blockbuster film movement, the explosion of sci-fi.
Yeah, and I think it sort of set the pace for a lot of the movies that are being made today, sci-fi movies being made today. But also, I think it talks about all of the kind of concerns that we have each day in our lives. Good and evil and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of mythology there that I think that we all somehow relate to.
Absolutely. And if you do want to see Lando in the next film, there is a campaign. You can tweet with the hashtag #BringBackLando. And you can follow Billy D. Williams on Twitter @RealBDW.
Thank you.
No problem. Plug. Shameless self-promoter. Let me ask you, every time I've interviewed anyone who has had any relation to Star Wars, I have to ask about George Lucas, because he is kind of a divisive icon now. There are some people who kind of resent the fact that we had the prequels that didn't quite live up to some people's expectations. I haven't had the chance to meet him yet. what's your take on George Lucas? You know, if you were describing him to a friend and not an audience, how would you describe him?
Well, obviously, I mean, he's a brilliant individual. He came up with something really extraordinary, and I'm always curious to see what he's going to do next. You know, even though there's some criticism about what he does, you know, like the last 3 films, for instance. I think he can afford to take the liberty to experiment, and that's what he does. And he's an artist, as well as an extraordinary businessman. So I just say hats off to a person like that.
Well, you are an artist as well. Beyond being an actor, you've also released an album, and you have done some amazing paintings. If you haven't seen his work, do yourself the favor and give it a Google. So why did you take an interest in art beyond just acting, and what do you enjoy so much about it?
Well, I started out as a painter. I grew up in New York City, and I went to a high school called Music and Art High School, my sister and I. And we were art majors. And when I left Music and Art High School, I got a scholarship to a school called the National Academy of Design for the Fine Arts, where I spent 2 years on the scholarship painting. And I was at 18, 19 years of age. I was nominated for a Guggenheim, and I won a Hall-Garten, which is comparable to a Guggenheim. And so painting has been, and also I have a painting in the Smithsonian in Washington, and they own one of my pieces. Thank you. And the Kansas City Jazz Museum, and also the Schomburg in New York. And I've been exhibiting for a long time. I haven't done very much exhibiting recently, but I have some paintings at a gallery in Toronto, though. The Brian List Gallery, if you're familiar with Toronto, it's Yorkville.
Trendy.
Yeah, very
nice
trendy.
Area.
Yes.
The money.
So, but painting has been very much a part of my life, and I know we were talking earlier. You said you're really interested.
I do acrylic kind of pop art inspired. Actually, one of my recent paintings was a Domokan merged with Yoda. I kind of merge worlds, that sort of thing. But I'm nowhere near your skill level. Bow before.
I'd be curious. Do you have a website?
I do, ajfry.com. I don't think I have paintings up there, but I have them on my Facebook page, my fan page. We'll share links after.
Okay.
We'll chat. I'm going to grab drinks with Billy D. Williams tonight.
Hal-Con.